Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the October 16th meeting of the Hyde Park Planning Board. Please note the exits. You might actually be able to get out the new front door now. If not, that way and that way. If you could all please stand with me as we salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless you. Our first item on the agenda is a new public hearing for Divine ground-mounted solar. Can I get a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. This is to install a 32 kilowatt ground-mounted solar at 172 South Cross Road. We've gone through and evaluated the site. There's been some notes made about no silt fence needed due to the topography at this place. The Roosevelt Fire Department has signed off. Dutchess County Planning has said that this is it's a local concern. I don't believe we have anybody from the application here tonight, but
They're running late.
they didn't really need to come.
Today, so she graduated from helmet.
Go forward.
I think we can.
I think we can.
Yeah.
So I would like to go around the horn a little bit. Tad, do you have any comments on this application? Bonnie, anything on the solar panels?
No, I do not.
Pete?
No, they added the one note that I had asked for, so we're good.
Okay. Victoria, anything?
No.
To my left, Mr.
No comments.
Tuttle? No? Mr. Waters?
Same, no comments.
Ms.
No
Weiser?
comments.
Mr. Oliver?
No
Mr.
comment.
Gurzio?
No comments.
Would anybody in the public like to speak about this application? Okay. So I would like to take a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Who has this?
Me.
John, thank you.
Resolution to grant conditional site plan approval, Divine Solar, dated October 16, 2024. Resolution 2024-33A. Whereas, now therefore be it resolved that the planning board hereby approves the site plan and authorize the chair to sign the site plan after compliance with the following conditions. Number one, payment of all escrow fees.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any absent or abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Our second item on the agenda is a continued public hearing. Carriage Trails, formerly known as Crofton Mews.
And now known as Crofton Mews again.
And now back to Crofton Mews again. Is that new?
Crofton Mews?
The switch back?
Not that,
No.
not that new.
Okay, it's been on our thing as
I
Carriage
know.
Trails
I
forever.
don't want to, I'm
And-
glad to be on the agenda. I'm not going to rock the boat.
And in attendance is Luke Hoffman.
Hi.
I'm going to have a dictionary at some point to pull out some very
Oh.
lovely words, but
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Keep it simple with me.
exactly. Would you like to give us, there's been a lot of activity, we're trying to get this closed out.
Yeah. I'm
There is
hope-
so many details that need to be perfect.
Yes.
Oh, we did not. Can I get a motion to reopen the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries, thank you.
Okay, so
Got carried away there.
I've got another round of comments from Pete and Bonnie, which I'm responding to right now. I don't know if I'll be able to fully complete that by the next meeting, which I hope to get a conditional approval of the mitigation plan. I have Bonnie's new comments. I'm working on them right now. Pete has some comments as well. I'm working on them. I'm waiting on DEC to, I sent in what I think is the last round of revisions that they had asked for. So we should be in pretty good shape. I know that it would be impossible to get no conditions on the approval, but we'll try and minimize them. And if there's any questions that you have, that the board has at this point, please feel free to ask them. And here I am.
Thank you. All right, let's start with our consultants. Ms. Moss.
I think the only thing that really needs to be on the plan is the DOT entrance. I know that that's going to be hard to get, but I do think that a design needs to be shown that could be approved by DOT.
And we currently do not have that, correct?
Well, I don't have the permit. I have a conditional approval based upon a design that we could, that should be actually on the DOT. There's a DOT page now, and it's slightly different than what was originally approved. There's only one lane out of the project now. They do not want a left and right turn. They also will ultimately, they're seeking a left turn into the project, which we're working on getting the permit for that too, and when it has to be completed by, and, we'll obviously share that with the board when it's happened, but I understand that you need to have that in place.
Anything else that you can think of? No? Ms. Franson?
So we did write a memo. Most of our comments are, there's a sheet missing, is it supposed to be there or not there? There were some substantive comments that we ran by Tad and Victoria and Pete to get guidance on it, so that was included in the memo. I think the only thing I have to review, and I actually did forward to Dylan real quick, any comments on the lighting. So we'll make sure, that was the one area that, from a substantive perspective, we had to take a quick look at.
I sent over the new lighting plan. I think it should satisfy you, but if there's any feedback you want that we can correct, that's fine.
A new one since the one that you're talking about?
No, I think
we
it's
sent
the
it
one
over
that
late last week, maybe?
Yeah, so you sent it to me, I think, at the beginning of this week, and then I sent to you,
Yep.
and you asked for the bug rating and a couple of other items, or you didn't see it, so.
Right. The fixtures looked fine. There wasn't a bug rating listed. We might want to look, just double check glare on a few of the poles, make sure we're not shining towards the lodge or anything like that. And then the color temperature was the only other thing I noticed. We should try to get that to 3000 K on the color temp. They were all at 4.
And that might even be in the finding statement, possibly, but, so we'll just do that final review, and I suspect that it may be conditions of an approval in terms of doing final revisions, hopefully.
Yeah, we had to twist their arms and lock them in a room, but they came through.
So that's it for me.
Okay.
We looked quickly at the plans, and I didn't see a pole height established. It may be there on a different sheet, but I didn't see it.
I want to say there might be on the details, but I'll take a look.
Mr. Sotero?
Okay, well, I didn't write a current letter. What I did was I marked up Lou's engineer's response letter based upon our prior comments. So I marked that up and I sent that out last week to Lou because we wanted to have a call to discuss it, which we did. We had a call Monday with Lou and I and his engineer and Finn, and we went over that. And so I'm going to write a memo, a letter that will formalize some of the things that were in my markup and also what we discussed at our call on Monday. Just like a couple things. So, for instance. When I was at CPL had some bridge comments. There wasn't anything from a design standpoint. It was more like technical things, like maybe the bridge rail didn't quite meet DOT specifications. Sorry, and some other things. So those comments in the last submission that Lou made in August, those comments weren't addressed. And I had given my current office, we have a structural engineer, and before I went away on a 2-week vacation in June, I didn't have time to write a letter, so I had our bridge engineer look at it, and that's when he said, look, Pete, none of the CPL comments were like addressed. I got four or five other like comments. We put those in an email. We sent those, like to Lou. So they weren't like addressed in this August submission. However, in talking with Lou, I understand what, his problem is. As far as, the bridges go, I don't know about his other problems.
Say, can you be more specific?
No, really,
I didn't want to
some
get
identity on.
I didn't want to get like
myself.
deep into this tonight, Lou. No, but but seriously. So, and I run up against this on some of my own like development projects in the past. So Lou is working with a major company that manufactures like bridges, and it's a significant like bridge. So the engineers for the bridge company up to this point have done, I would say probably 75, maybe 80%, plans, but they're telling like Lou, until he signs on the dotted line, that he's going to purchase, the bridge from them, that they really don't want to put in any more like time into this, and I understand that, and that's happened to me on other projects that I've done in the past. So, I'm in my letter I'm going to write later this week, over the weekend. I'll document those. We're going to have to make those a condition, because he's not going to go get anywhere with the bridge company, because he doesn't want to put down a huge like chunk of money on a deposit until he gets approval. And so. So I understand that. So the other couple things where we discussed about where the children are going to get picked up for the bus. So, in my thinking, knowing over the past 10 like years maybe, that, the school district does not go down a cul-de-sac, that they pick up kids at, the road. So I asked Lou's folks to contact the school district, review that with them, if there needs to be a bus shelter down by 9G, where are the parents going to park? Because a lot of parents don't just want to leave their kids at the bus stop, they want to wait in the cars with them. So, that discussion didn't happen, but in our call the other day, Finn O'Neill said, and I didn't have a chance to check this, he said that the original plans, and this like could be true, that the original plans, again, years ago, the original plans had a bus shelter that was down at the cul-de-sac. Now again, that could have been the thinking way back when, I think it was, 2007, 2008, something like that. I don't know that that's the current like thinking, that they still won't go down like a cul-de-sac. I don't believe so. So anyways,
I don't think so.
So that one of my comments will be, you got to get with, the school district, you got to see where they want the bus stop. I do think, however, looking at the bridge plans, that the bridge is going to be wide enough because of the way, God bless, because of the way that they're going to construct it and be able to maintain one lane of traffic into the site, because the Moose Club has to have access to their building at all times. So months and months ago, Howie and I don't remember if Tad was on the call, but we had a call with Lou and his prospective marine bridge contractor at the time, and they explained how they were going to do it, made complete like sense. But anyways, I think because the bridge is going to be wider in order to keep one lane of traffic while they're building the bridge, that the end result is the bridge, the final bridge, is going to be wider than it really would need to be. So I think that would allow the south side of the road to be striped with like a lane where maybe parents could park while they were waiting for the bus. But anyway, so that's something that they're going to have to work out with, the school district. And so the last big like ticket item, I don't say it's a big like ticket item, but I wanted them to make sure that they have looked at, there's not a lot of room between where the bridge is going to be and where 9G is. I think I measured it one time, it's maybe 50 feet, 75 feet. So there's going to be a lot of activity there. There's going to be a sidewalk, on one side of the bridge. So I just want them to make sure that they can go fit everything in that congested like area between the bridge and 9G. And for their own sake, make sure that there's not going to be any impact to the Crum Elbow or to the wetlands, because then obviously that creates issues with the DEC. And, I don't know, maybe there needs to be a little retaining wall there to make the sidewalk and the guide rail work. I don't know, but there's some things that I'm going to ask them, to look at. So, so those are kind of the three like primary items, the bridge, the school district, the bus stop, and then just looking at that area between where the bridge is going to be and 9G, just to make sure everything can fit without impacting any of the wetlands. And they're going to have to make it fit, whether they have to build, a retaining wall or, or something, because they're not going to want to go back to the DEC. So I will write that up. Lou has already stated that he would like for the board to consider a conditional approval at our first November meeting. He expressed that to me, and Finn did also express that to me on our call on Monday. I told him I obviously don't make the decisions on that, but from my standpoint, I think most of our things are technical. I don't think it's anything that's going to drastically change anything where we'd need the board to weigh in on anything. But that's my opinion, and I don't make the decision on, having a bunch of conditions attached to the approval. Now you still got to go to the DEC. I mean, I think he's rounding third base there.
Yeah, I just hope I don't stop in the middle and get thrown out.
Like the Yankees did last night.
Yeah.
They got caught. So, twice, that's right, thank you. So, and then, the DOT's obviously got some work to do with those, with them. So, if we were going to consider an approval with conditions, I think there'll be quite a bit of time to work a lot of those out while he's finishing up with the DEC and finishing up with the Department of Transportation. So,
Okay.
that's my story.
And you're sticking to it, right?
And I'm sticking to it.
Thank you for going back and making sure that the previous comments from CPL, identifying which ones were still open, and now bringing it all together.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing what that
If-
truly looks like.
If you'd like, just let you know where we're at in that process. So Pete explained it correctly. We have, actually Fort Miller was the original bridge maker in the original approvals, and it's the identical bridge that was proposed and approved in the first century. But, it's in the Bible, I think. But, and we have purchased the sets of drawings from them, but now, having gotten the feedback from CPL and Renia, we have to get to, have asked Fort Miller to respond, and they were unwilling to respond and go forward until they have the contract deposit, and we are unwilling to put that money down until we hear from you. So we're in that place now between third and home and trying not to get tagged out. So that's where we are, and certainly I understand that I need to respond to the concerns about the guide rails, et cetera, and we'll do that. And, and that'll happen. We also, we have to give the DEC is looking for how we're intending to work in the stream and, with coffer dams, et cetera. That also is something that they're going to condition their permits on. So, we have a little work to do, but we need to get something in place. So the bridge obviously won't be built until DC and Mr. Sotero here are satisfied that we have the proper form. There is the bus stop was approved. It's on the original set of drawings. And it's kind of, as you drive into Crofton Boulevard, it's before the maintenance building at the last road. And so that would be an ideal place. We're perfectly willing to put it there. The issue now became that the bus transportation, they're saying we don't do this and we don't do that, we don't go on a private road, we don't do cul-de-sacs. I personally don't think there's a whole lot of space up by 9G for a bunch of kids to wait on the road. I mean, I was on Route 9G the other day, and I had to stop while the bus stop let a kid out, and he bolted down his home. But, it's not an ideal situation. The other problem is, and it's not really a problem, it's a cul-de-sac, and maybe the school was concerned, they have this thing about cul-de-sacs, but they may have to bend the rule a little, but that cul-de-sac is never going to change because there's the possibility of it becoming a road down onto Hudson Terrace maybe is non-existent now, because of environmental impacts. As a matter of fact, 911's telling us we don't like to call it a boulevard because it's not going to be a through street. So they're forcing us to change that name after using it, so I don't know, Crofton Street, whatever, whatever 911 wants is what they get, and we don't have any choices there, so. But I mean, the bottom line is that road is not going to be a through street, and that cul-de-sac is going to be permanent, really. So I have to try and convince the bus people that they may not like it, but if the safety of the children is paramount, maybe they'll consider it. So I don't know, either, I'll have a complete loop. You want to go on that? I'll indemnify you or whatever, just don't run off the road or hit a turtle. But I have to talk to them. I didn't get back to them yet. And the last time we spoke to them, it was going to be a private road, so they were really against it.
Right.
So, but now that all's changed and turned around. It's going to be a public street. So I'll see if I can't convince them to, maybe have this one special exception.
Yep.
We'll see. So I'm going to work on that.
So one thing when you do talk to them is, your plan has the old town like cul-de-sac, which is just, the bulb, the round like cul-de-sac.
Right.
I'm not like advocating making them, the type that we have like now.
What, the hammers?
The
Hammerheads?
snow-de-sac.
Well, the airplane, like landing areas that we have now.
You mean like we have on like Blair?
Yes.
The spatulas, right. But anyways, if something like that might help the school district to agree, because it's easier for them to maneuver at the end there, maybe that's something that you may be able to offer up to them to have the bus stop further
We'll
like
see if
back
that
in.
can
So just
accommodate
kind of,
let me tell you, if they can't turn around in the space we provided for them at Blair and Daniel.
Oh, no, they can do that.
They need to get a new driver. So that's, it's huge. You get lost in there,
Yep.
I got the ball games going on in there. No, we don't, but they could be, Anyhow, so I'm going to try and work it out with them because, again, if the school children's safety is paramount, then they need to give a little, because putting whatever amount of kids there are, I don't know that there's going to be a whole lot, but it's going to be more than one. So putting them out on 9G after the bridge and people turning in one lane, I don't know, it's starting to get a little tight in there. So I'll discuss that with them.
And they have, from what I have observed, they've radically changed what they used to do back in the day. There is There's a
So,
road.
let's see what I can do.
There's a road that has it's a lollipop road.
Uh-huh.
So it's a big road. It
Right.
has 50 houses on it.
Right.
It won't go down that for whatever reason. And so every morning there's a stacked line of cars waiting. But they always used to go on there. I don't know why.
See, to me, I would think that they need to be a little more
So
realistic.
hopefully you can show
But,
them what
well,
you
we'll see.
had.
I don't
and-
know.
Yep.
Or you could provide your own, like, bus and just take them.
Sure, I could do that.
When you retire.
A turtle bus. Yeah, actually, I could do that. That would be great.
Anything else, Mr. Steve?
Yeah, oh, and then the one
Personal
thing is,
driver.
let's see, distance between 9G, yeah, so I'll work on those things, Pete, and,
All right,
you
and
know.
I'll send out a formal.
Right, and so if the planning board would see its way clear to allow some conditions and pass the resolution, so we can move to the next step and show everybody, yeah, everybody's on board now, so let's get these final things in place. That would be very helpful to me. It'll be helpful from the perspective of DEC. They'll see that it's not all talk. DOT will see that, everybody's ready now. The place isn't gonna lay fallow anymore. So, that would be great. And I think our track record will show that once we get our approvals, we'll put it in right.
Understood. Ms. Polidoro.
So I don't think there's a question that there's going to be some conditions. It's just how many. So,
Right. If I remember correctly, do you remember how many conditions were on the original approval?
like over 20, I believe.
Jeffrey Groves had like 45.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you say 20, I think it was 20 pages, right?
So what I've done recently is we took the old conditions, started updating them, adding some new ones. So I'm going to send that around to Bonnie and Pete and get some feedback to see what's been addressed. Like approval of NISDAC Phase 2 stormwater permit. That feels like an old condition we wouldn't need anymore.
Well, they have their stormwater coverage, it's in place, right?
So that's coming out. So we're going to try and consolidate this and then get it down.
Yeah, I'll get my letter out by Monday.
So do you think that there are conditions that are actually outdated and maybe not relevant?
I think
On there?
so. I mean,
So-
we've had regulatory changes
Well,
in
exactly,
the
a lot,
past,
yeah.
20 years.
Okay, so that sounds like a very good activity. You may find there's going to be overlap on some of them.
Right. And then I know that the Roosevelt Fire District had comments as of July. Is that all tied up?
I believe that's all done.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll just need a sign off from there.
So, right, I just need to see the sign-off letter.
I think their main concern was having a water supply, and we're working on that right now.
Okay. So, yeah, so making progress to get through this.
Okay. I am going to start to my right with Mr. Gercio. Do you have any additional comments?
No.
I was going to say, what?
I do have to agree.
Other meeting.
Hello.
I do have to agree
Oh, that's probably
with him.
CACD.
I grew up on 9G, and 9G has gotten much more dangerous, and I can't imagine wanting to put a pile of kids out there close to that road. Plus, I can't envision, even if you create an extra lane, all those cars, like how many units are going to be back there?
Say that again.
How many units? 250?
249.
249 units.
Hey, it used to be 317.
Yep.
No, I know, but I'm just, if
Now it's 249 and maybe a turtle or two.
Couple of turtles.
if 50 cars drive out there every day to drop their kids off, they're gonna have to pull up, then turn around and come back. I would think that you'd want it
Right.
in some sort of methodology where they could turn around and go back to their apartments.
Yeah.
Or their-
I don't think from a traffic perspective and a safety perspective it works. And maybe the school, I didn't know that the school buses have the final authority.
And then-
I'm hoping that they'll see their way clear, because it just doesn't make sense.
That bus will shut down Route 9G in the morning
Mhm.
for at least 15 minutes while all those kids load.
Right. So,
So I don't know. I mean, I can't pretend to understand what the school district, what they're going through, but they may have to really make an exception here, or a compromise.
Well,
I
you know,
should say.
they're losing students, so maybe this will inspire them.
Anything else?
Nope.
Mr. Oliver?
I would agree with John on that. Is there a way we could possibly write a letter of recommendation or suggestion to the school board, given the
Transportation.
uniqueness of the site and the location where the bus stop would be, to relax their standard?
Absolutely, you could do that, and they may give it some weight. They may not, but you can certainly send that.
Ah,
So, you could, tonight, the board could make a motion to authorize the chairwoman or vice chair to draft such a letter and send it.
I love how you said that.
I'll send my bullet list to Cynthia.
You know, we had a whole awning and, you know, had a whole structure. Again, that would be very difficult on Route 9G.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I don't mind if you have a virtual meeting with them or whatever, I don't mind if you want. I don't mind, you know, like sitting in to offer, you know, like my thoughts from the town standpoint too, or, you know, like anybody else from the board too.
Right. Yeah, it seems like we need to bridge that time
Because
period.
it does make sense to have it, you know, like internal, it doesn't make sense
Yeah.
down there.
That's all.
Nice thoughts, okay. Ms. Wasser?
Actually, I was going to suggest the same thing that Chris did, so I think a letter would be a very good idea to help that
So
situation.
a letter by the chair, vice chair, or member of the planning board?
Hey, your idea, you get started.
Or a possible alternative second vice chair.
There you go.
I mean, I can,
Absolutely.
I can draft something.
How about we just authorize the chair to sign such a letter?
Yes.
and we'll
There you
get it
Yeah, we'll
drawn.
draft it
I'll
up
make
for you.
that motion.
Don't worry about it, we'll take care
I'll
of
make
it.
that motion.
So moved. Second.
That's real then, right? That's
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Aye, yes.
Yes.
See, we can take action
And
really fast.
I didn't have any other comments because I think Pete really went over them thoroughly.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Waters?
No, I think it's all been said, so I'm in agreement with what Pete went through, what Louis actually
Okay.
said, and Stephanie and my other colleagues, Chris and
Pick up
John.
kids on the internet
Excellent.
site.
Mr. Tuttle?
Of the three things Pete talked about, the bridge and of how to avoid wetlands near 9G both seem like clear conditions that can be improved without. You know, this is a sticky wicket with the school transportation, and that's the thing that at the next meeting I'd most like to hear, you know, an update on before we were to sign off on.
Yeah, that's a good
So I'll
idea.
reach out,
Yeah.
find out who we're
That's a good idea.
communicating with, and then I'll transmit that information to the board.
Know the guy who was in
Yeah,
charge
I
of
mean,
the
I don't know
transportation area one
if
time.
ultimately this is a school board decision, or if the district has the, you know,
If I have to appear before the school board, no problem. I've met with every other board in this town.
It's probably the Department of Transportation.
Actually, I have a question maybe to Victoria. So if it were more general, like if we didn't have a name, our board's counterpart to the school would be the school board
Correct.
on this issue. So that would be one option.
But the transportation
you're right, it's
director
the
has a lot of
transportation
discretion in the
director,
first instance. I think you want to start with that
Yeah.
With
person,
the
Yeah.
and then if
transportation
you
director.
have to go up,
Right.
you do.
Okay.
But
yeah, good question, because I don't know how to dissect the school district. All right. All right, so I don't have any new comments to add. I think my most pressing issue is where are the children going to be picked up and where are they going to wait? I agree that I really don't think that by 9G, not with 249 units, because as the former chair said, we're building buildings and the buildings last, and even if the current trends are there won't be that many children, I don't know what's going to happen in 50, 70 years where every single one of those units has 3 children. I mean, you know,
You just don't know.
you just don't
create-
know.
The demographics were showing back when that they were losing students. So if they want to encourage it, they need to show that it's going to be a safe haven
Exactly.
for children.
Yep.
And certainly the road itself, Crofton, whatever it's going to be called, Crofton Street, will be more than wide enough to accommodate parking.
Mm-hmm.
And, and it's beyond the Moose Lodge, it's just too much going
So
on
I
up
think,
there.
I think those are the types of comments that help, that there's more than adequate access for the buses to get in and get out.
Right.
We're talking about the style of the cul-de-sac, but if I recall correctly, when this is built out, it'll be a loop, won't it?
Well, there is a loop, but that's a private road, and they
That's-
really,
oh, okay,
so they,
got it.
oof,
Only-
that's
only the-
two taboos, a cul-de-sac
initial
and a
segment.
private
And
road.
to
Right.
They
add-
won't even pick any child up, I'll
add
have to
to
get my
this-
van, you're right.
On my street, the Hyde Park Central School District comes down my street, I live on Peach Road, and they, right on the end of the road where it goes to town of Poughkeepsie, they back into a residential driveway to turn around on a bad turn.
Yes.
So, yeah, so it's like,
They do something very similar on my road. They do a
Yeah.
turnaround in a blind spot.
What's your, Peach, and what's yours? No, I'm just saying, hey, you figured out a way, it's not, it's not written in stone, let's
I'll
keep the
put it
kids
in our
safe.
letter.
For precedent.
Well,
Exactly.
I don't see why they couldn't just go around a private road either. We're building the reason they don't go on private roads a lot of times is because they're not built to specifications that can support a school bus.
Right,
But you're building a brand-new road
Right.
to, I think, town specs.
Yes,
So-
yes. Okay.
Well, the other thing that I just thought about, and I don't know that this is a possibility, but how wide is the emergency access out to Green Tree?
Oh,
I want to say 15 feet.
Oh, that's all? I was just trying to think of, maybe there's a way that,
because they go into Green Street.
they go into, Green Tree Drive,
Green Tree.
and
Truth,
again, it's just.
let me speak my Brooklynese. Get over yourself, it's a cul-de-sac, you can turn around, come on.
Hey, 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 hey.
That's how I would promote it to the
Louis.
school, but that's probably why I got expelled
You
3
might,
times.
you might want to put a more of a velvet glove on that.
All right, so you're gonna go set up, you're gonna go set up.
I'll set it up and I'll let you guys know how I made out.
And in the meantime, we'll work on
letter.
draft. And again, I don't have anything to add. I just want to thank our colleagues over there for keeping track of all of these, because we really do need it to be as clean and clear as possible. And so I appreciate it for whatever you can do to get some of these
Right.
things very clearly defined.
Right, I would expect
And
no less
that
from
makes
Pete.
everybody's life easier.
Right. I would expect no less from Pete.
There you go. So we are still in public hearing. Is there anybody here who would like to speak to this application?
Did Bonnie have something for?
Did you have something else?
Yeah, it was a permutation on what Pete
Microphone?
just said. It was a permutation on what Pete was just talking about, because we were just talking about this. So not that the bus would come through from Green Tree, but could the kids pick up the bus on Green Tree?
That's what I meant, that's what
Ah.
That's what we were literally talking about,
Whether from the site, you could get the kids out to Green Tree.
as a backup plan.
That's
Whatever, we'll
interesting.
look at it, we'll look
I
at it.
mean, certainly, the access to Green Tree is, it's perfectly
Paved.
yeah.
So we'd have to say paved, and if it's
Yeah, but I think it is paved.
handicapped accessible.
Gated, but,
So if their bus is
we
already
can make
coming
it
through,
pedestrian friendly, but where are you putting the people with their cars?
Well, yeah, right.
they'd have to walk. I mean, the kids would be walking. I just, yeah, and they would be at, right, and they would be by the emergency access as opposed to on the bridge.
Can you supply electric bikes?
Right.
Really.
How about a
moving
pedestrian conveyor belt,
Golf carts.
Okay, that's
Uphill both
good.
ways.
I lived in
Endless.
in a townhouse project, and so there was a fight over who gets the parking spaces, because they weren't necessarily directly in front. And the fights that went on about people that had to walk 20 steps. So, please don't put me in that.
Yes, agreed.
All right. we're
Okay,
good.
so there's no public comment, so are we adjourning this to November 6th then? Sounds like we are. Can I get a motion to adjourn to November 6th?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I know you will have invitations, I'll just remind you, we're having a ribbon cutting, October 30th. on the-
Congratulations.
Thank you, and on something you had a lot to do with. So thank you again for that.
That's where,
And,
that's where, on
What
Blair?
time is it?
That's on Blair?
I think it's on Blair, yeah. Marketing doesn't talk to me, so I'm out of the loop on that thing. So, but yeah, it's on your invitation. I believe it's on Blair. It would make sense.
Yeah, I
And plus, we have a couple of units we can have you in. So anyway, please feel free to come. We'd love to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, and good luck.
Thank you.
All right. Next item on the agenda is the Violet Avenue Coffee Shop. Also a continued public hearing. Mr. Berta, where's your sidekick?
He's in a ditch right now fixing a water break.
Oh, is he right over here? Oh. I was wondering, I was
He almost made
right
me late
next to
the meeting.
Hyde Park Elementary.
So, yeah, so he's,
That looked like an unplanned
You can
activity.
FaceTime him.
I don't think you want to. He was a little cranky.
All right, so may I
Thank
get a
you.
motion to
Yes.
reopen the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Please say aye. Thank you.
Aye.
All right, so we are so close. Can taste it.
Yes,
I can
yes,
smell the
yes, we are.
coffee. I can smell the coffee.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so there's been a lot of work trying to pull together a resolution that encompasses all outstanding items. Thank you for getting back to us with your request for the waiver.
Thank you. You're welcome.
But there are a number of items on there, but I will let you speak.
Well, I went through the resolution and, I'll go through them. Number one, obviously, is the fees. We'll take care of them, make sure they're taken care of. The easement for the sidewalk maintenance, I'm not sure who I need to talk to, exactly, what to shout. Would that be Pete or would that be you, Victoria?
I think
Okay,
We have templates,
on the
right?
plan, it'd be good to show the width of the easement.
okay. And how wide would we like it?
Well, it needs to be at least 5 feet for ADA compliance.
Well, the sidewalk is 5 feet, but do you need any room
For maintenance.
for maintenance or anything?
No, because you're just giving the public the right to
Oh,
walk
okay.
on it.
All right, so I'll show the easement like 6 inches off the
Yeah,
sidewalk. Okay,
we can evaluate whatever you put on. And then the easement itself will give the town the ability, but not the obligation, to go in and maintain it if they ever need to. But your client is gonna have the obligation to maintain it
well, yeah, I mean, yes.
and clear the snow.
Oh,
So we have
absolutely.
samples.
We have samples, Mike. We-
That
Okay.
we've used, Associated Golf Cart is one that we can get for you.
All right.
And
If you could send me one, I'll get John to you.
I think John has one that's partial, so you'd just be expanding it.
Well, I'm not,
That's what he's-
I don't remember when that was done, but.
Yeah, the one at the, to the north?
His old property. You might have one for there, okay. All right, we'll get that. I'll show the easement on it.
Is there anything on the other conditions that you want to discuss? that's
Yeah, I'm
not-
gonna get
that's
to
not
that for a second,
executive
but I just,
Okay, we don't need to go through every single condition.
no, I'm not going to, because a couple of these are simple, but, just want to get back to the easement. We're gonna have to do meets and bounds on that, or just a simple line?
I mean, generally, you want, meets and bounds are clearer, but you could just say 5 feet from a center line, I suppose. I mean,
Okay,
you do it how you think it's going to be
okay,
best, because it's gonna run with the land, and so if there's a fight later on, you want to.
all right. I just want to make sure we
5 feet
get it
from the
right.
center line of what?
Maybe
I mean, you
3
could
feet.
say
Or from
just
the
like
property line.
6 feet from the property line.
Yeah, we'll do it from the property line.
In a direction.
Okay. All right. So the rest of them are no problem, we'll take care of all of them. The hot spots, what we're gonna do was, there's a couple of hot spots, they're right around the building. I'm gonna just tone down the fixture. I'm gonna go with the smaller bulb in the fixture, so that'll drop the hot spots down. Right now, we're using a T30, we'll go down to a T27, or even smaller. And that'll take care of the hot spots.
Okay.
Now, the turnaround. So, I know that there's been a lot of discussion on what to do with that. Our thought was, after talking with John earlier today, our thought is to make those two end spaces excuse me, make those two end spaces employee parking only.
Which two?
The two, western, the two furthest to the west, right next to the, they'd be
Next
basically
to the
right next to the
drive-through
drive-through lane. Right. So we would, make those two spaces employee only. So if anybody else was in the other spaces, they'd have no problem backing out.
How do the
I
employees get
understand
out?
that.
Right. If they're occupied by employees, how would that work?
How do the employees
I mean,
get
how
out?
do the employees get
Oh,
out?
right, yeah.
There,
I mean, in other words, let's say you have two employees parked there, and a member of the general public comes to park, and they're parked there, and the whole space is, the lot is full, how does that help? That's what I wasn't.
well, there's only,
What's the total spaces?
I think it's 10, 9 or 10, something like that. I have to look, I don't remember. It's not many.
I think it's 9, right? Because you
Yeah, I
have
think it's
you have
9 'cause
to
I
have one
took
for the
one out.
ADA.
Yeah, so it's 9 spaces, so if somebody pulls in and they see, you know, 9 cars there, common sense is gonna say the lot's full and to pull around and not pull in there. But even if we, you know, eliminated one of the spaces and just striped it, somebody's gonna park in it anyway. That's just how it is. You know, they're gonna say, oh, I'm just gonna run in and get my coffee, so they're gonna pull in. You know, you see it done all the time. You know, how many people have parked in the blue striped area between the two handicap spots?
But I think, I would only add, but you have provided it then, and you've met the
Right.
zoning obligation.
That's all, we're asking,
Stripe it.
we're just
Yeah, so
asking to
we'll-
have
we can-
Whether they
something
park
that,
there or not. that's-
Well, we'll stripe it, and we'll just leave it as employee, because John doesn't, there's so few spaces there now. Eliminating one more is, you know, even with the employees, you know, it's gonna be difficult.
The way it's drafted is you gotta propose something and work it out with Pete and Tad.
All right.
So
And so, we'll,
they'll evaluate it and
All right.
decide whether that makes sense or not.
okay. All right. And the rest of the conditions are no problem, we'll take care of those, those are, removing the curb between the two dumpsters is no problem. The updated bollard, we'll change that on the plan.
Do you have that?
To use the one that's specified.
okay,
The one that years ago, you guys
the ones at the
recommended.
Saki, along the Saki sidewalk?
Yep. I'll be honest with you, I never heard that requirement, that spec before. You know, 'cause usually we just look at lumens.
Bug
yeah.
rating?
Yeah, we usually just look for lumens and spread and things like that. And I asked the lighting company, and they were like, oh, yeah, and kind of gave me the, well, we'll look into it.
Yeah.
And 2 phone calls later, they're still looking into it, so
Yeah.
obviously, they're not so sure of it either.
Easier to just go with one we know works.
Exactly. So that's why we're gonna change over to that one.
Nice. I think you'll like
And,
that,
and, you know, you guys like the look of it, so it's a win-win.
yes. Anything else?
I think that was it on this, and, you know, we asked for the waiver on the parking. You know, we did our best to cut down on the amount of impervious. And given the fact that there's essentially 2 businesses on this lot, that's where the increase comes from.
Yep. Plus, I believe you're,
And the drive aisle,
with the safety for the escape
Yeah,
lane.
with the bypass aisle, correct.
Right, right.
And I almost don't even want to say this, but also the right turn only adds to it, too.
Right. Correct. Okay. Anything else?
Believe that's it. I think those were the only real comments. I think Bonnie's comments were a couple of them, but they were pretty much part of the
They've been
resolution.
incorporated.
Yep.
Right.
So, we'll take care of it. I know, I think Cynthia mentioned to me about the dumpster enclosure, the one closest to the coffee shop. Since we got it out of the, you know, we rotated it a little bit to get it out of the setback. Either way, no matter when it was the original layout or this layout, the truck was never going to be able to pull in, lift it up, and drop it back down. They were always going to have to get out, pull it out, lift it, and then
And
push it
this
back
is
in.
something that they normally do?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
On tight sites, they do
Because you
that.
have such not for nothing, it's a nice-looking refuse enclosure, and, you know, want it to continue to look nice.
Yeah. No, they do, on tight sites, they do that all the time.
Okay,
You know, we're actually giving them a lot of room,
okay,
you know, more than a site like this would usually give them.
okay. You just circle around. Did we open the public hearing for this?
We
did, right?
opened it, but we didn't take public comment.
Right. But I'm just going to take a quick cruise around. Ms. Moss, do you have any comments on this?
I believe they've already responded to my comments on the landscaping plan.
Okay.
And then
Mike?
Microphone.
Thank you, Dylan. Yep.
they've already responded to my comments on the landscaping plan, and we've put some evergreens over in the corner to screen that resident that was complaining. And then I guess Pete and I'll work through the parking spaces.
That's fair. Thank you. Bonnie?
My comments are addressed as part of the resolution.
The conditions, yep. Thank you. Thank you for pulling them together. Pete?
Same thing.
Same
We're
thing.
Good.
And again, thank you for working with the turning radii and trying to work something through. I know you guys will come up with something.
Yep, we will.
Oh, look at that. Aw. Get your own.
Oh, look, you can go mobile now, too.
She can walk through the hallways talking. Ms. Polidoro.
All
Just the
my
easement?
comments have
Yep.
been incorporated into the resolution.
Okay. Starting to my left, Mr. Tuttle.
I think everything that I thought about was in the resolution.
Yep,
So,
and thank you for your catches on these finer points. Very,
Oh, I do have a slight, one
you
word.
do have a comment.
One word change in condition number 7. It just says that no single fixture exceeds 5-foot candles. It's not really the fixtures that exceed, it's the reading, so just change the word fixture to the word reading.
Oh, single
Reading or
reading.
Reading, like a foot candle.
So if
reading.
you go to, measure it.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
Thank you very much. Mr. Waters?
Nothing.
Ms. Wasser?
No, nothing else.
Mr. Oliver?
Nothing new to add.
Mr. Gercio?
Nothing.
Would anybody in the audience like to speak to this application? No? Oh, there's another one. All right, so I believe we are ready to close the public hearing. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Say aye. Thank you. Motion carries.
I've
And
got-
who has this one?
I've got this one,
Dylan's
the
got
one
that
with the
one. Great.
conditions, all
Settle
the
in.
conditions is
Yep.
me, yeah, settle in, that's right.
Smoke them if you got them.
All right, Violet Avenue Coffee Shop, October 16, 2024, resolution number 2024-02A. Whereas. Now, therefore be it resolved, the planning board hereby grants the applicant a modification of the impervious surface per parking space standard, as shown on the site plan set, and makes the following findings pursuant to section 108-4.5 of the zoning law. 1. The practical difficulties of applying the standard to the project. The applicant has included an emergency access lane to allow cars to bypass the drive-through in the event of an emergency. This extra impervious surface, in addition to the drive-through lane, increases the ratio of surface area to parking spaces, but is necessary for the safe operation of the project. 2. The potential adverse impact on surrounding properties in the neighborhood of applying or not applying the standard to the project. The property is already developed, and the project will decrease the total impervious surface area from 21,336 square feet to 18,064 square feet. Modifying the parking space ratio will not result in a discernible difference as viewed from neighboring properties. Further, additional landscaping will soften the view of the impervious surfaces. 3. The feasibility of alternate means or measures to attain the same goal as the standard. The applicant has considered alternate measures to decrease impervious surface coverage, including the use of plantings to help absorb stormwater and to soften the visual impact of the impervious surfaces.
Curious.
That's a tough one to say a lot.
Curious.
Yep. Be it further resolved that the planning board hereby approves the site set plan and authorizes the chair or her authorized designee to sign the site plan set after compliance with the following conditions. 1. Payment of all fees in escrow. 2. Approval by the planning board attorney and town attorney of a sidewalk easement granting the town, on behalf of the public, the right to utilize the sidewalk for pedestrian access and proof of recordation of same with the Dutchess County Clerk. 3. Approval by the Dutchess County Department of Health of methods of water supply and sewage disposal. 4. Revision of sheet SP-1 to modify the parking area to provide for adequate space to back out to the approval of the planning board engineer. 5. You're off the hook, Ted. 5. Revision of SP1 to depict the sidewalk easement area. 6, revision of the lighting plan, sheet LT1, to include the attached bollard specifications. 7, revision of the lighting plan, sheet LT1, so that no single reading exceeds 5-foot candles to the approval of the planning board planner. 8, revision of sheet SP-2 to add the following note. The plantings shall be maintained for the life of the project. Any substitutions are subject to town review, and any dead or dying plantings shall be replaced within the next planting season. 9, revision of sheets SP1, SP2, and DR1 to remove the southern curbing between the two dumpster enclosures and label snow storage area to the approval of the planning board engineer.
Second. Any more discussion on this? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Congratulations.
Thank you. And I like to thank
When are you
everyone.
opening?
High school?
Yeah.
I think tomorrow. The way John's going, probably tomorrow.
Go down and tell John, and maybe he'll make him feel better.
Maybe. We'll see, depends. He wasn't too happy, that was an old pipe.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
we
thank
missed
you.
seeing him. I'm sure this will be the bright
Good
spot to
news,
his
right.
evening.
You know, you're probably happy that you didn't see him tonight. Like I said, he was a little cranky.
Great, yeah.
That's true. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the board.
Have a good
Appreciate
night.
it.
Night, Mike.
Okay. Our next item on the agenda is the Vanderbilt Lane Morton Lot Line Alteration and Additional Dwelling. That is a continued public hearing. Can I get a motion to reopen the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries, thank you. This is a lot line alteration and site plan. The applicant has requested that this be adjourned to November 6th. I did a site visit on Saturday morning. Oh, it was so beautiful. What a gorgeous morning. And it's a beautiful site, and it's going to look great when they're done. But they do have some challenges. So they are working with the fire department on how to allow access. I think getting on the site is easy. It's how do they get off the site? So they're working with them. They've gone back and forth a few times. As of Saturday, they were looking at not connecting the two driveways because both dwellings will have a spot that will be large enough for the fire department to turn their apparatus around. It needs to be 50 feet. They are carving out a 40-foot spot for guest parking, and so they just need to add 10 feet onto that. I hope we'll see something from the fire department soon that says that that would be acceptable. We also discussed the
Doesn't sound like it's gonna get some,
Mrs.
not so favorable
I see.
odds.
That's
We're getting
silent.
signals.
Okay.
Yes.
That's silent. But deadly.
They're working with the fire department. There you go. There you go. He showed me the area of, I don't know, old construction debris that they might want to clean out, and so I thought, I told him I thought that it would be a good idea if he applied for the variance now, so that if they did decide that they wanted to do something, they didn't have to stop and go off and get a variance to work in the stream corridor. And so hopefully they will be showing up to put in an application for a variance on that. But all in all, it is a beautiful site. Long-term, they're looking, Central Hudson's talking about relocating the electric lines that go through the property, but for now, they're going to get, or they have an easement, or they're working on the easement. But anyway, it is a gorgeous site. But they have asked to be adjourned.
Okay.
Tad, do you have any comments on this one?
No, I just still need to do the letter about the variance.
Okay, great. Bonnie?
Nothing new. I think we're waiting to see what transpires with the fire department, if it changes the layout. And then I think we're still waiting to hear from SHPO. They had made a couple requests, the State Historic Preservation Office.
Right,
So
right.
that's kind of in a holding pattern too.
Okay.
Thank you.
Pete? Nope. Nothing? Victoria?
Nothing new.
Okay. Dylan, any comments on this one?
Nope.
Rob?
No.
Stephanie? Chris?
Nope.
John?
No.
Would anybody in the public like to speak to this application? No? If not, can I get a motion to adjourn the public hearing to November 6th?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, motion carries. All right, we are now out of public hearings and to our first workshop, which is homes roof-mounted solar, which isn't, applicant is here?
It's finally your turn.
It's actually Cameron.
I was gonna say, that's,
That's not Chelsea.
okay.
Yeah.
Cameron, you are here with Plug PV LLC.
Correct.
Would you like to give us just a brief overview of what the project is?
So it's a residential rooftop solar. I know it's a townhouse location. I'm not sure off the top of my head what size kilowatt system is. I know it's a small system though. I think it's like a 4 or 5 kilowatt size system. It's on the back of the house and on the front of the house. And is there something in particular you guys would want to know about it?
No, it's just a fairly straightforward rooftop mount for solar?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so there's nothing, 5.6, so there's nothing outstanding about this, that it's just one of your many, many rooftop installations?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's my first board meeting though for any.
Oh, ever? Oh, okay, well, welcome. You've heard a lot of town business.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like to get, there's a lot of details with some of these. The only detail on this one that is of interest is the deed, because the townhouses that are being, that you're installing these on have shared roofs.
Right.
And so our attorney is reviewing the deed to make sure that, and we've done this before, right, out there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah, we've done this before, but she still needs to make sure that this particular deed was written.
I think I have access to the deed. If
Yeah,
that's
I know it's been sent.
Oh, okay. They
Yes.
were able to send it. All right, perfect.
Yeah, so that's about the only thing that we're weighing in on at this point. Tad, do you have any comments on this one?
Just with the deed,
Thank you.
we just want to make sure that, you don't cross over that wall
Right.
under the adjoining neighbor.
It literally is ownership of half of the roof, right?
Well, I mean,
Or-
the trouble was the deed said that it's subject to covenants, notes, terms, conditions, et cetera, in former deeds or other instruments of record. So,
What does that mean?
I mean, it means you have to go back further than just this deed.
Okay, it's referencing something else.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I don't want to over-lawyer this, but we should make sure that, there's no restrictions. on
Thank you,
the
Pete.
roof. So, what would be helpful is if you're in touch with the homeowner,
Yeah.
when they purchase the property, they get something called a title report.
Right.
If they could just share that with us,
Okay.
and that'll have the deeds back 50 years.
Oh,
I think one of their neighbors too also has same part of the same townhouses also has solar on their house there too. I know it has to have 3-foot setback from at least one side or every plane that there's panels on, and then 18-inch from the ridge line. But I've done townhouses in other towns outside of Hyde Park, but I know normally if they are shared roof, yeah, you'd have to split half of it. These ones are separated by like, they're not the same exact height planes. They're like separated.
they
off
are.
of- Yeah. So
well,
it's
that's
not,
helpful.
That makes it easier.
So,
Jill.
So
Like-
probably no issue at all.
yeah, so this one's a little bit different. Like other towns, I know like I did a couple in Highland and they're all the same height. This one, they're all different heights. So,
Right,
like,
and
one's a
on the
little bit
ones that are
taller.
the same ones, sometimes I see a little seam, like
Right,
almost
exactly,
like
yeah,
a
with the
little
different roofs,
boundary
yeah.
worked onto the rooftop.
Yeah, that's not the case for this
Okay.
one.
Okay. So yes, if you could get that title report, that would be great.
Okay.
Go to my left, Mr. Tuttle, any comments?
Nope.
Mr. Waters?
No?
Ms. Wasser?
No, that's good.
Mr. Oliver? Nope. Mr. Crucio?
No.
All right, so we should consider setting a public hearing for this. I think November 6th could work nicely.
Does that meet the timeline for reviewing any documents that need to be reviewed here?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
it won't take me very long as long as they provide it before the,
Yeah.
at
So,
least a
yeah, if you could
day
get
before
the
meeting.
homeowner.
She's a legal wonder.
She is. We are lucky to have her.
A whiz kid.
I don't know about all that, but
Yeah. Do you know when you can speak with the homeowner?
I actually know him, so I can.
Oh, okay, so you can
Yeah.
get right to them, because the quicker they can get that over, then November 6th is pretty clean and straightforward and over.
Okay,
All right?
Yeah.
Great.
sounds good.
All right, can I get a motion then to set a public hearing for the home's roof-mounted solar for November 6th?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Have a
Thank
good
you.
evening. Thank you for waiting.
Take care.
Oh, 64 Falco's back.
Ah, there we go. Let's see.
They haven't
64 Falkhill Road, Highbury Estate is the next one on here. Oh, that's right, they've requested an extension of site plan approval to complete construction of the 2 dwellings off of Falkhill Road. I don't know if any of you have been up there, it is absolutely beautiful, but I know that
What have you up to?
it's taken quite a bit for them to get as far as they've gotten. So we just need to set a public hearing. We've got the request, right?
Yep.
Okay, so can I get a motion to set the public hearing for 64 Falkhill Road, Highbury Estates for November 6th?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I was giving someone else a chance to move.
There's
Nobody
a pattern
jumped in.
here.
Nobody
Yeah.
jumped
Just-
in.
Yeah, it makes you
Motion
jumpy.
carries, thank you very
Stomped on
much.
us so many times that we don't bother him.
Right? Yep, you gotta get in a new cadence here, it's completely different. So, under other business, we have Cara Fasce. It's a waiver approval for a front deck replacement on 10 Ravine Road, Town of Hyde Park. We do this because she is in the area of the SAS. Chris, you have this one,
Yep.
right?
Town of Hyde Park Planning Board Site Plan Waiver, Fast 10 Ravine Road, Resolution Number 2024-36, whereas an application requesting a waiver of site plan has been made to the Town of Hyde Park Planning Board by Cara Fash on August 20th, 2024 for the property located at 10 Ravine Road, Hyde Park, and whereas, now therefore be it resolved that the Town of Hyde Park Planning Board hereby waives site plan requirements for the proposed changes as described in the building permit received by the Building Department on July 10th, 2024, and per the waiver request to the Planning Board dated August 20th, 2024.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Motion carries unanimously.
Oh, this one's fun.
The next one is Ron Whitman and Amy Novat are seeking approval for a screen porch addition and an entry addition on 23 Scenic Drive in Hyde Park.
Okay, also in the SAS.
Yep, also in the SAS.
Okay, site plan waiver, 23 Scenic Drive, October 16th, 2024, resolution 2024-43. Whereas, a request for site plan waiver has been made to the Town of Hyde Park Planning Board by Amy Novat and Ron Whitmont for construction of a screen porch addition and entry expansion on a single-family home, and whereas, therefore be it resolved that the Town of Hyde Park Planning Board hereby waives site plan requirements for the proposed addition and changes as described in the building permit application dated August 30th, 2024, and the request for a waiver of site plan received by the Planning Department on October 5th, 2024.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Next item on the agenda, Mary Ann Torres is seeking a site plan waiver approval for roof-mounted photovoltaic panels. She lives at 17 Fuller Lane.
Hey, that's me. Mary Ann Torres, 17 Fuller Lane, site plan waiver. Resolution 2024-44, whereas a request for site plan waiver has been made to the Town of Hyde Park Planning Board by Mary Ann Torres to install a roof-mounted photovoltaic panels on the existing single-family home, and whereas, therefore be it resolved that the Town of Hyde Park Planning Board hereby waives site plan requirements for the proposed changes as described in the request for a waiver of site plan received by the Planning Department October 8, 2024, and in the building permit application dated September 23, 2024.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And nays or abstentions, motion carries. Next item on the agenda. Approve 2025 Planning Board meeting schedule. Yes, folks, we are almost there.
Wow. You can abstain.
We are missing the January 1st meeting and the October 1st meeting, and we're going to see how the July 2nd meeting goes. But right now it is going to be scheduled. So.
My birthday.
Oh, the 2nd? Wow, what a way to celebrate it with us right here. Are there any comments on this, or questions, or requests to change? Okay, then I get a motion to approve the 2025 Hyde Park Planning Board meeting schedule.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Let's go.
I was trying to mess.
I know.
Give somebody a chance.
That's right, exactly. That's all right, you guys will get it. Next item on the agenda, and final item on the agenda, is a brief discussion on the environmental monitor consultant for NRI. We have received 2 proposals, and so we would like to do our due diligence and interview both of them. I believe, Dylan, are you available, and Chris, are you available? Thank you. We're going to set up Zoom interviews. Tad, if you could sit in, that would be great. Just, I know you've already spoken to one of them, but this time just kind of run through now that we've actually had their proposals. So, Cynthia, I don't know if you'll be able to do this before you head out on vacation, but if not, I will see, I can reach out and schedule and set up a Zoom for these folks. It may not happen next week, it may happen the following week. Give me your availability so that I know what days not to do it, or what mornings or afternoons not to request. That'd be great. So I don't think we need to make a motion or do anything, right, Victoria? No. Just a discussion?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Then can I get a motion to adjourn?
Make that motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you, everybody.
Giving you a chance. That time everybody was slow enough for me to get in there.
You snooze, you lose.
I have to think.